Marian Mali, and I'm gonna teach you on how to use and make CAD modeling using this design in Solidworks. This is a helical bevel gear. The version of Solidworks that I use is Solidworks 2023. So the Solidworks that I'm using might be different by the software you use. Now, I will teach you on how to design a helical bevel gear. In this tutorial, we will learn about the revolved boss base, circular pattern, how to use reference plane, loft boss base, rotate entities, scale entities tool, and fillet. The first thing we will do is to edit the document units. We will choose the MMGS for this design. So we can find the document units here in the lower part. Then as we can see, it's already on MMGS. Then we can now choose a plane. There are different planes that we can use in sketching. There are front plane, top plane, and the right plane. But in this case, we will sketch to the right plane. So I will select the right plane and then select sketch. And now I will draw a straight line from the center of the origin. So I will select this straight line and start on the point of the origin and then upward, then horizontal line, then vertical line, then horizontal line, then vertical line, horizontal line, vertical line, and then from this point we can create a semicircle as we move this cursor downward, then back to its point, and now we can see a semicircle, then a vertical line, a horizontal line, then horizontal line, vertical line, and up to this point. Now we will define all the lines. We will now put dimensions by clicking it here. So the dimension of this line is 45. And this line is 163 millimeters. And this line is 5 millimeters. Then this line, up to this line, is 32 millimeters. Then from this point, up to this line, it is 80 millimeters. And from this line, up to this line, it is 102 millimeters. And from this line, up to this line, it is 112 millimeters. Then for this line, up to this line, this 39 millimeters. Then from this line, up to this line, this 38 millimeters. Then from this line, up to this line, it is 32.5 millimeters. Then from this line, up to this line, it is 36 millimeters. Now we can see that all the drawings are fully defined. We can now exit the sketch. Then go to Features. Select the revolved boss base. Then for the axis of revolution, we will select this line. And from this part, we will let it spline and the angle of 360 degrees. Then we can now select OK. Now we can see the revolved boss base of a stand shaft. So this is the revolved boss base of a stand shaft. Then for the bevel gear, we will choose this sketch and we will draw here a 2 circles. So we will select sketch, select circle. The 2 circle is more bigger than the previous one. So the dimension of the first circle is 100 millimeters. Then for the second circle, the dimension is 170 millimeters. Then we will put a center line. We can find the center line when we drop down this straight line and then select center line. We will draw the center line from the center of the origin up to the second circle. Now here we will create a 3-point arc and we can find the 3-point arc here. Then select here, then select 3-point arc. I'll draw from here to here and move it like this to keep it more circular. Now I will put dimensions. The dimension of this is 65 millimeters. Then the dimension of this point up to this point is 6 millimeters. Then from this point, from the center line, it is 15 millimeters. Now we can see that it is fully defined. We can now mirror entities. We can now select the mirror entities. Then for the entities to mirror, we will select this line. And for the mirror about, we will select this center line. We can see that the preview here. We can see now the preview here. So we can now select OK. Then we will now trim entities. We'll select trim. Then we will trim this second circle. Then click OK. Then to have a multiple number of profiles, we will click the drop down of linear sketch pattern and then select circular sketch pattern. In our sketch, we need a circular pattern. So I'll click this arc and this line and this arc to mirror. Then for the numbers of pattern, we will change it to 8. As we can see, it's already in 8 patterns. Then now we can select OK. Then we can now trim entities. We will trim this one, this, and follow me. Now that we're done on trimming, we can now select OK. We can now exit the sketch. Then we will use this profile for the lofted boss base command. Then we will now select this face and click the reference geometry. Drop down. So we will choose a plane, and now we can now create a second profile. The second profile will create after few distance. So I will choose here a 45 millimeters. Then we can see here that the distance of the plane 1 is 45 millimeters. You can now select OK. Then we will now sketch on a plane 1. Then select Sketch. Here we want to create a smaller profile of this gear. So first, we will convert entities, the first gear or profiles. So we can now select Convert Entities. Then we can now see here the entities to convert. And we will drop down this menu. And we will select this Sketch 2. Then click OK. Now we can see that the first profile is converted here. We can now hide the Sketch 1. The problem here is we want a smaller profile of this one. So first, we will rotate entities. You can see it if we drop down the Move Entities. Then select Rotate Entities. Then for the entities to rotate, we will select all of this profile. So as we can see here, it's now selected. Then for the center of rotation, we will select this center point. And then we will change this to 15 degrees. Then we can now select OK. We can see now that it is rotated to 15 degrees. Then we want it smaller, so we will choose here the Scale Entities. Now the same rules for the entities to scale. We will select all the lines. And now we can see that it is all selected. Then for the scale about, we will select this midpoint. Then for the degrees, we will change it to 0.75. We can see now the difference between the two profiles. For the better view, we will hide the plane 1. Now this is the profile number 2. Now it's time to create the profile number 3. So how we will do this? So we will do the same thing here. We will choose this space. Then select the plane. Then we change this to 95 millimeters away from the reference plane. Now, we will select the plane number 2, then sketch. Then we will select the Convert Entities. Then for the entities to convert, we will drop down the menu. Then select Sketch 2. To convert entities. Then select OK. Now we can see that it is already converted. Now we can see the third profile. We will now rotate it, then scale. We will now select Rotate Entities. And for the entities to rotate, We will select all of these profiles. As we can see, it's already selected. Then from the center of rotation, we will choose this center point. Then for the degrees, we'll change it to 30 degrees. We can see here that it is on reverse direction. So we will change it to negative 30 degrees. Now we can see that it's on the direction we want. We can now click OK. Now, let's select again Scale Entities. Then select all the profiles for the entities to scale. Then for the scale about, the center point. Then we will change this to 0.5. It is the half of the bigger one. Then we can now exit and hide the plane 2 for the better view. We can see now the 3 profiles. We will now select this face, then go to Features, then select the Lofted Boss Base. And we will select this point, up to this point. And this point. So this is what it looked like. We don't need anything else, so we will now click OK. Now to change appearance, we will go to Appearance. Then select Appearance. Then Metal. And we will select this Polished Steel. So we can see now the Helical Bevel gear. So this is what it looks like. So we will hide this one for the better view. Now we'll do another profile here and this side. Then select Sketch. So here we will draw another circle. So we will choose this circle. Then from the center point, the dimension is 72 millimeters. Then we can now select OK. Then here, we will create a corner rectangle. So we will select this rectangle, then select corner rectangle. So from this point, we will create a rectangle like this. Then we will now put a center line from the origin up to this point. Then we will now make them vertical by selecting this point, then shift, this point, and then vertical. Then we will put the dimension of 10 millimeters here. Then for the distance of the arc, from the top rectangle up to this origin, the dimension is 41 millimeters. Now we can select OK, then exit sketch. Now we will extrude the rectangle. So we go to features, then extrude. Then sketch 5. Then we will select this face. Then check. Now we will do a multiple pattern of this rectangle. So I will select this linear sketch, then circular pattern. Then for the features and faces, I will select the boss extrude. Then for the direction, I will select this circular face. Then as we can see, it's already in 13. Then we can now select OK. Then for the last part, we will make a hole. So we will select this face, then sketch. Then we will select the circle. And from the center of the origin, the circle is 35 millimeters. Then we will now go to features. Then select extrude cut. Then we will change blind to true all. Then select OK. So now this is our helical bevel gear. That's it for my video, and I hope you learned a lot on this tutorial.